Pennsylvania. Yeah, today we're talking about Pennsylvania, amongst other states, which we visited after our first Virginia trip. So Pennsylvania was basically in between the two Virginia trips, because we had to go back to Virginia, I remember, to get our RV fixed, the catalytic converter exchanged. So Pennsylvania was in between. And Pennsylvania also means more states. And I don't mention them extra or do an extra video about them because we only drove through or stayed overnight at a harvest host. So when we visited Pennsylvania, which was a long visit, we stayed a long time. We also visited Maryland, New Jersey, and Ohio. So let's start with our campground in Sheffield, Pennsylvania. This will be the next pictures. We chose Whispering Winds in Sheffield because it's basically on the border to upstate New York and on the border to Mike's home. My Clay's son Mike lives in upstate New York in Busti, and he basically can throw a rock into Pennsylvania from his backyard. So it's very close to where we stayed in Pennsylvania, and we didn't have to pay all the tolls in upstate New York. Pennsylvania is a little bit cheaper. So my husband said we stay in Pennsylvania and just drive to Busti and visit him or bring him to our campground or go on tours. So that worked out really well. Whispering Winds is a really nice campground. Our spot was next to a creek. Yeah, the kids played there, they liked playing there, but it was fun watching them actually. And we had campfires there. They had a really nice pool. I stayed there every day swimming. So we really love Sheffield and Whispering Winds. It's an older couple who manages that campground, and they come by every evening, ask if everything's okay, you know, if we have questions. There's a little store, there's a laundry room, and nice showers, so nothing to complain. It's a very, very nice campground. I can only recommend it if you are in that area. Yeah, let's start with that. I show you a few pictures from the campground, and then we move on, because that's a long recording, because we went to many places when we were in Pennsylvania. Oh, a really cool camp spot in Pennsylvania near a creek, and we like it very much here. There's a pool and a nice bathhouse, and a store, everything you need. So tonight we might have a little grill party here with Mike. We get him over from New York to hang out with us. The next section in the recording is when we visited Mike in Busti at his home, and we took him to the church in Busti. We have very good friends there who actually connected with Clay when he stayed in Busti a couple months ago, and we went to the service, and they talked about the sword, and the pastor brought his dragon slayer. It was a good sermon. I show you a few pictures from that, and yeah, and then we go on to some other adventures. While we were at the campground in Sheffield, we took our Jeep to an excursion to Gettysburg and stayed overnight there at the Cemetery Hill Inn. Yeah, Cemetery Hill Inn. And it was very interesting. Like in Virginia, I was floored how it impacted me to see the battlefields, the museum, which is fantastic. They make it personal, you know. You it's not a history lesson when you go there. In the museum, they have walls and walls of people who were victims of the war, who died in the war, who died for their cause, North and South, and also the cyclorama in the museum was fantastic, showing the battles around Gettysburg, the way Gettysburg got, like they had a big fire, and they had good harvest in that year, but all the harvest was burned, so that the South could not get supplies. So the northern, the rebels were not. The Northern Army tried to prevent that the rebels would get fresh supplies. So they destroyed all the crops, and the war was in Gettysburg. So it was not just the armies and the battlefields. Everybody living there was impacted from the war, and the nurses who helped the wounded soldiers, to the children, everyone. So it's when you see that, you see what war is doing to human mankind, and it's very personal. The only one I can compare with that museum, the only, you know, personal touch is the concentration camps in Germany. That's where also it's a very personal way to. It's not history lesson. It's you are confronted what has happened there. It's hard to explain. You have to look on your own. But this is how I felt in Gettysburg as well. And the cyclorama, I will explain later more about the cyclorama, because we visited a second one in Atlanta, Georgia, and when we get to that video, I will explain a little bit more about the cyclorama. But Gettysburg itself is very beautiful, really very quaint. We went to a inn, Dobie's Inn. You think you are in the Lord of the Ring book when you go to that inn. It's in a basement, you know, and it's cool. So there's a lot to see around Gettysburg, and I show you a few pictures and stuff. It cannot really give everything we saw there, but just a little glimpse. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, Ohio. That's what we planned when we were in Sheffield. We planned to take Mike to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Mike, as you might know, is recovering from cancer, and he felt strong enough. So we said, let's go. He was happy to get out of the house a little bit. And we all went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which was really cool. And we spent quite some time there in Cleveland, Ohio. So Ohio was our second state we visited when we were in Pennsylvania. from Sheffield, we moved our RV to a harvest host in New Jersey. That's the next state which we visited on our Pensylvania tour. It's Sicilia Farms in Mullica Hills in New Jersey, and it's an animal rescue farm. Very, very nice. Man, it's a huge mansion, I would say, in a rescue farm attached. It was very nice there, and we had even we could get electricity if we wanted to. So very nice harvest house. Can only recommend it. And from there, it's only about 30 minutes to Philly, downtown Philly. So our next journey our next trip was Philadelphia, and we visited more history. I mean, Philadelphia is just full of history. I just loved being there, walking the streets, visiting the Liberty Bell, visiting the Betsy Ross house, and the cemetery where Benjamin Franklin is buried, and it's just everything is just history. It's magic. And I show you some photos of that. Yeah, farm is alive. We are at the Sicilia Farm in Mullica Hills, New Jersey. Getting ready to go to Philly, which is about 30 minutes away. Nice place here with water and power. Yeah, there's another one here, Harvest Host. And that's our little setup. It's freaking hot, so we are happy to have the electricity here to run the AC. Really cool. Oh, the alpacas are. They left me. They were looking in my window this morning. And the cock-a-doodle-doo woke me up. Yeah, that one.
Would later be known by a name familiar to all.
Let the bell be cast by the best workman, with the following words well shaped in large letters round it. Proclaim liberty throughout all the land to all the inhabitants thereof.
Now, of course, as we were already in New Jersey, in Mullica Hills, we went to Atlantic City, New Jersey, to dip our feet into the Atlantic Ocean. So this is where we came full circle, from the Pacific Ocean to the Atlantic Ocean in Atlantic City. And from there, we only went back, actually, home west, you know. Was the tip of the most eastern tip of our journey was the Atlantic Ocean. And there we went to the Hard Rock Cafe, to the Hard Rock Hotel, which had a great display of rock stars and their musical instrument. It was almost more than I saw at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I mean, I saw from Kiss, all the costumes and the flute from Jethro Tull, and they had a lot of stuff there at the Hard Rock Hotel. A bad thing, what happened there, we got gas at the Hard Rock Hotel gas station, and in New Jersey, you can't fill your own tank. We didn't know that, so this lady came out, and when Clay stuck his credit card in and wanted to fill up the gas, she said, no, you can't do that. We have to do that here for you. And with all the commotion, he forgot his credit card in the slot, which was probably taken. But we noticed right afterwards, and we called the bank and locked it up, and they didn't have it anymore at the gas station. We asked, but nothing happened, nothing bad happened, but you know, it's annoying if you lose your debit card. Now he had to ask me to pay for everything for the rest of the journey with my card. Oh, anyway, but nothing bad happened of it. So, yeah, this was New Jersey. And, one thing I should mention, if I haven't mentioned it before, the best sandwiches you get at the Wawa gas station, and they are in Pennsylvania. I think I saw them in Carolina, Virginia, maybe, but by sure in Pennsylvania. If you hit the Wawa gas station, try one of their sandwiches. It's really good. That's where we got our lunches every time we saw a Wawa gas station. And my bass teacher told me he lived in the Poconos for quite a while, and he told us about the Wawa gas station. So thank you, Steve. We got a lot of lunches out of that. And yeah, that's the end. After that, we went back to Virginia. So through Maryland, that's the next state, because we crossed over then to Virginia and to fix our car, which I already told you in the last recording, that we had to exchange our catalytic converter. So this was it from Pennsylvania, and as they say in California, peace out. Pow. Yay, we are in Atlantic City, New Jersey. East Bay, Maryland.